Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. Hello there, Luminance. What are you surprised about? I'm just going to go ahead and get right into fixing up some things that I saw after taking a look at things this morning. A little bit, yes. But I'm doing better. I'm mostly fine. I'm probably just going to be a little bit tired, and I may not be able to go quite as long as I would like. But yeah, I'm mostly fine. The first day, I was definitely having a pretty rough night. But today I was able to eat normally, and all was well. So I should be able to at least do a little bit of stuff. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be doing even better. Yeah. I normally get over things pretty quickly, so I figured 2 days would be long enough. Especially for the kind of thing that it seemed to be, just some kind of random stomach bug or something. I don't know, I tend to get over those pretty quickly. Honestly, I think half my issue right now is that I need to fix my sleep schedule, because being sick makes me want to sleep more. So I was napping during the day, and I didn't sleep very well last night, so... So I think that's gonna be half the battle here. But, once I get that, I think I'll be mostly fine. It's just the lingering remains at this point. Although, like I said, I might be a little bit more out of it than usual today. Because, man, I was looking at that curve and... I'm pretty sure that's not right. Okay, it's not quite as bad as I thought it was. That's good. Okay, cool. I think I will consult the mesh to figure out what's going on there, though. There's just a particular vertex that I can tell is not moving quite right. Found him. Right there. Going down when he shouldn't be. But I, for whatever reason, could not spot it without the mesh. Okay, and then I feel like up here is being stretched out a little bit. So I will also consult the mesh there to figure out what is being stretched so badly. Let's see here. Okay, I think it's... Over here's one, and then there's a bunch of other stuff here. Some of that might be a little unavoidable, just because I know I'm stretching some things in order to get this shadow right. So let's see if I can still get the black part to look right too. Okay, actually this isn't too bad. Let's see, the part that I'm actually being bothered by I think is actually back there. On this layer. Yes indeed. Okay. So I'm not so out of it that I can't spot these kinds of things, so that's a good sign. Even though it was completely hidden, I still managed to detect which area was being pulled wrong. Alright, so let's pull this guy back into place and go from there. Yeah, I guess at some point I just pulled this entire thing a little further down than it needed to go, and now I can just get it back up to where it belongs. Happily sitting up there on top of her head. But yeah, I looked around at, you know, this side of her head, the last bit that I was working on before I got sick, and I still think it's looking pretty good. So that means I'll be able to move on to the next clump of hair. And hopefully this will be the last time I have to look at that area. Okay, I want to see if that looks good before I start worrying about smoothing things out over there. Yeah, I think so. That's looking a little bit better. Did I pull things a little bit too high there? Or is it just some shenanigans here? Okay, a little bit of both. So what I was seeing there was, up at the top here, this lighter part goes further down than I was having it over here. Like, you can see a little sliver of the dark part here. And I was noticing it was kind of like that here too, and I think the actual issue is that this lighter part needs to come further down here on the left turn as well. Just get all of these lined up. I realized that, I think when I did this before, I didn't pay that much attention to the upper right turn there, because I thought it was looking fairly okay. But then I just happened to notice a few things that I thought could be a little bit better, and figured that I might as well go poke them too. Yeah, that's still growing a lot. Okay. I think I will line this up with the top turn first. And once I'm satisfied with how it looks relative to the top turn there, I will line it up with the left properly. And then I will line it up with the lower left and do whatever lining up I need to do on all the other turns to compensate. Okay, before I get too deep into cleaning up, I should definitely make sure that it lines up. There I was, wanting to clean up a little bit, and it's not even lining up quite the way I want it to yet. This is why it's important to check these things. I'm glad I caught myself quickly this time, because sometimes it can be easy to get into a cleaning trance. And just immediately go into some of these details that it's maybe a little bit premature to do so. It's okay, just gotta be aware of what I'm doing. Okay, I think that's a bit better. I still want it to go a little further to the side there. I think so, yes. Let me actually consult the mesh here. How far do those things get pulled? Oh, quite a lot. Okay. In that case, maybe I should just grab the brush and really drag it out. Just undo everything I did at the very start of the stream. That's fine. Mistakes were made. I can fix it. It's okay. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. Let me zoom out and check it here. Okay. Before I clean, I want to make sure that everything is lining up with my left head turn too. Yeah, still want to pull some things down there, and I want to make sure that I can get it lined up the way I want it to be before I get too deep into cleaning it up. But I think it'll be fine. It's looking like everything's okay. Actually, rather than do it like this, once again, I think I'm just going to take my big brush and pull things down a little. So something like that. Okay, and I think I will line it up here too. So similar thing, I think all I need to do is take my big brush and just pull it all on down. Oh, I wonder why this is so low here. I would actually expect the pink part to be a little bit more visible on that turn. Yeah. Okay, I'll fix that too. I just kind of want to get this whole back of her head area looking correct. And then I'll move on to the next clump. And up here, I think I can actually hide a little bit more of that little pink area to make it look like it's going a little bit further back. Just a little bit. Hello there, Yedgy Kitty. I'm doing a bit better. I'm still a bit sick, but I am no longer dying, so here I am. Thank you. It's okay, I'm doing pretty okay. Alright, probably got some things to adjust there, but... it's okay, my house is nice and warm. It's a very nice house. Oh, that top area is actually not lining up with a lot of places. Okay, I'm really gonna have to dig into that. I guess I was very focused on this area. But that area, I think, is looking very nice. Let's see. I'm gonna hide her side bang for a second here. Letting myself get slightly sidetracked again. I get the feeling that's gonna happen a lot tonight. And I think I want to hide this too. My brain, I think, is only maybe, I don't know, 70% of the way here. So stuff is gonna happen, and it's fine. But here I was noticing that I didn't quite like the way all of my shadow parts over here were lining up. So I figured that I'd hide the layers that go on top of them and work on them a little bit without it. It doesn't need to be super perfect. They are mostly covered up after all, but I do want to kind of make sure that they work together a little bit better than they are now. Okay, I actually totally moved those the wrong way. And anytime something feels off, it's good to just take a look and see it without anything else clouding around it. Without anything else covering it all up. So here I notice that the shape of the hair, it comes down and then it kind of gets thinner. There's a very significant thinning right through there, and so I'm kind of trying to get that same effect, so that this way this shadow shape doesn't get all distorted and weird. So I'm just going to take a moment to replicate that shape. Gonna do the same thing up here too. Okay, so let's... not that one. I'm gonna keep that strand off for a little bit longer. There we go. Let's turn them on and see if they line up a little bit more nicely now. This one not quite. What is making you not line up quite right here? Just gonna pull like the entire inner area a little bit further to the right. See if that does it. Yeah, I think that did it. Okay. I am satisfied. Let's turn this little strand back on. Had it off for a second because I was moving that in the upper left turn there. Or the area that it connects to, rather. So it didn't make sense to have it on while I was still adjusting that, but now that part is in place, and I am pretty satisfied with its location. So I can just go ahead and get this tiny little strand into place too. Looks like he needs a little bit more work. Just enough to kinda push things along. This is one of those cases where I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking for, but I'll know it when I see it, so I'm gonna do my best. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I think I see what's wrong here. The top is in a good spot, but the bottom part needs to come out a little. We'll just pull him out over here like this. And then I think I want to adjust the angle at the very top just a little. I think the location is okay, but there's just something about the angle it's connecting that doesn't feel quite right. This is probably just due to the mesh group sitting on top of all this. Its influence on everything. Yeah, that seems okay. And now I'll do something similar to the bottom. Then I think I can get into what I think the meat of today is going to be. And that is going to be this back area right here, and maybe this part too. But mostly I'm trying to focus on the outer bit of her hair. Just getting all those shapes, defining the outer edge of her hair right. It's just funny to watch the progress there, because the first thing I did was the very tips of her bangs. And then I just went up the front and into here, because I thought that this area was important for making things look 3D. And so now I'm going into the outer edges of her head and really making those shapes exactly the way I want them. So that this way the shape of her head looks nice. And everything looks correct there. Okay, I think I'm gonna poke up top just a little bit more, but I think this is just about right. Just want to get that nice little curve. Well, nice and curvy. There's I don't know, with the curves like this, just getting them to curve the right way, I think makes a big difference. This one I'm still not quite sure is actually curving quite right. Maybe I should consult the mesh on this one. Alright, mesh. Where am I making things curve wrong? Okay, I think I understand. Sometimes it's actually pretty simple. Okay, I ended up poking around to this guy a little bit more than I thought I would, but that's alright. I think it's important to get these little strands right. I think they add a lot of volume to the hair. So I don't want them to be like wildly flailing all over the place while she moves her head around. It's like I probably will put a little bit of extra movement in them when it comes time to add physics, but not that much. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. This is something out on the edge, largely defined by the edge here, so I think it just makes sense to take care of this now. I remember when I was doing a bunch of hair stuff before, that I would just turn off all the strands and leave them for last, and I think that was reasonable for what I was trying to do at the moment. But now I'm trying to do this a little bit differently, so it makes sense to keep them. Alright, I think that's better. Alright. So now, first order of business. These guys. Let's go. Where do I want to start here? Yeah, let's start at, as usual, the left and right, and then the up and down. Make sure that those are the way I want them to be. And then once those are looking okay, or if they are still looking okay, like I think this one, well, I'd say it's like 90% there. But yeah, once those are looking good, if the corners still aren't lining up the way that I want them to, I can make adjustments from there. So I think I want a little bit more pink showing here. Something like that, maybe. Let's take a look. I don't feel the need to clean up this edge too much, but I kinda want to get it there at that, and I think I might have just absent-mindedly been fixing it when maybe I shouldn't have. Justifying perhaps suboptimal action. It's okay, everybody does it sometimes. And when it comes down to it, I'm still dealing with microbes trying to eat me, so... I suppose I can forgive myself a little bit. Alright, I'll just leave it a little bit messy while I sort all this out. Let me see here. I'm finding myself looking at the top turn right away before I even do the left and right fully. Because I remember when I was looking at this and adjusting things on the upper left there at the beginning of the stream, that I was making some might not have been entirely correct. But they weren't that far off, so I think it'll work out. Yeah, it should be fine. I moved it a little bit, but not that much. Okay, cool. That will need some adjustments. I might as well do them now. I'm right here and I'm thinking about it, so let's go for it. I was just noticing that right here was just a little bit flat. I do not think it needs to change very much at all. And then a touch on this side. Just a touch. There we go. And I think the other part of what I'm seeing might also be like right here. So I'll adjust this part a little bit too. I was expecting to be wanting to get into here soon as well, so it makes sense. But I think before I can get into here, I need to get into here. So that will probably come first. Maybe it actually makes more sense to do all this after I do this, but, well, oh, we'll see. For now, that was what was bothering me, so that's what I've decided to do for the time being. Still feel like I want a little bit more pink showing right through here. Just a little bit. Just like a little sliver. The way it was disappearing just wasn't quite looking right to me, so... Well, let's show a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's better. And while I'm here, I'm not quite liking the way that this is going behind everything, so I want to see if I can get it into just a slightly better spot. So I think that's this layer. Like, having it like that should be fine in theory. I'm gonna get it, like, as close to the edge as possible, so that this way it goes behind the rest of her head as slowly as possible. Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. Small details like that do make a little bit of a difference. Okay. Let's do the right side. Let's see. Is there anything I want to fix up there? I did quite a bit of work on this side already in the past. Maybe a little. Just a teeny tiny bit up there. In fact, what I want to fix along this pink line there is small enough that I think I will actually consult the mesh for it. Okay. Mesh, not helpful here. The difference, I guess, is small enough that the mesh is just kind of shrugging its vertices at me. Maybe they'll be shoulder-shaped if you squint hard enough. Okay, that seems good. That I already checked up. How do I feel about my downturn? Okay. Yeah, there are definitely a couple of things I want to fix in my downward turn. One of which, surprisingly, is actually the very top of an area that I thought I had already fixed. Well, that's okay, it wasn't that far off, and I can fix these things that I missed as I find them. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to fix this strand here. But how is everything else doing? I think I want to show a little bit more pink. I feel like I'm talking about stakes of just how much pink do you want? And that's what I'm trying to figure out here. How much pink do I want? And here I think I want a little bit more. Now see, when it comes to stakes, I like just a little bit of pink. No red, but just a bit of pink. Typically just medium. The generic steak. I know there's some people that like their steaks like it's still raw meat, but that's always been a bit much for me. I don't want it to bleed on me. I still really like the way her face looks in the downward turn. It just looks very ominous. I could totally see her having an expression like that. So it makes me happy to see every time I see it. Okay, so now I just have to pay very, very careful attention to the outer part of her hair here. Because when I look at it, there's this part that comes down here, and then around this thick spot with a thicker line, it changes its angle a little bit. And then even through here, there's a slight angle change. And I don't think I'm reflecting any of that in my downward turn. So let's see if I can get that feeling down here. I think I might actually be doing this backwards, but... like, do I want it to floof out more? Okay, no, that was okay. I do think I want the top part to be a little bit floofier, though. So squishing down that bottom part was right. And now I can make this part a little bit fluffier. Just gonna put a little bit more poof into it. Something like that, maybe. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty good there. Now I can start building on the other side here. I'll get what I can here first. I may not have much luck until I really dig into this area, but I will do what I can. And then kind of around this little loop of hair that I probably should have put on its own layer, but did not, so here we are. I need that to be a little bit rounder as well. Okay, and there's still something about the very bottom of this that's not quite working for me. I think it's... it's actually not even that layer. It is this one. But yes, I see where the problem is. And unfortunately, it's going to be really hard to control. But I'll do my best. Let's see if I can get it right here. Because these two layers kind of come together to form a specific thing. They come together, they connect right there. But the thing that actually controls that connection point is over here. So let's see if I can change its angle enough that it'll actually look right to me. Without breaking everything. I'm afraid. But I want to try. Yeah, I definitely broke some stuff. Okay. It's alright, I can fix it. And I think in doing so, that area will be a little bit stronger too. Okay, but how am I gonna do this? Consult the mesh. Always a good start. Okay, on the original, it doesn't actually quite feed in perfectly, so I want it to be just, like, a little bit off, even though that feels weird. But I will believe. I will believe. Just trust in how I originally had it. And that'll probably make it look more correct than the alternative. Okay. Yep, much better. Alright, I'm not actually sure how much I want to go into corners today. I can definitely tell that I'm feeling a little bit off, so I think I'll leave that part there and I'll go look at this part. And I'll do that in the 4 cardinal directions. See if there's anything I want to change about that part there. I remember really struggling with this area just the entire time. So I think what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at this piece, and I'm going to look at this piece. And I can see that this piece definitely needs a bit of work in order to be right. And I also know that that's one of the areas that I put a more detailed mesh on, and I'm already internally sighing. The detailed meshes are nice sometimes. It definitely gives me some good control over how things move, but there is definitely a lot of diminishing return on it. It just starts becoming a little bit unwieldy and hard to move. More dots, definitely not more better. I think I said it a few streams ago that in the future I'm going to be approaching this as doing it with as few dots as possible, and I think that's a good way to look at this. Don't add more dots for the sake of it, make sure that they're actually doing something for you. Man, everything just got pulled so far to the right. Really gotta bring it back on over. But it's okay, I can do that. It'll go ahead and come back on over. I think a lot of what I was seeing is around this highlight, so I'm gonna focus on that for the time being. How did it look? Just double checking the mesh here. It can sometimes give me some clues to how things should move around. It'll be nice to have the spot done, though. So I'm kind of happy to be starting on it today. We'll see how far I get. I can definitely tell that I'm getting tired, but I want to try to do a little bit more. I like working on this. So I want to see if I can get just a little bit more done. Okay, and I think part of the issue that I'm seeing here is this little front strand. Just this little guy needs to be a little bit rounder through here. Something like that. I might need to clean it up a little bit later. Oh no, that's actually great. Okay, cool. That is fantastic. Okay, getting there. Just gonna take this slowly but surely. Okay, that's looking much better. Let's go in and clean it up then. There's just a couple of spots that look slightly wrinkly to me. And honestly, when my brain's not 100% at its best, cleanup is one of the nicest things to be able to do. Unfortunately, with the stuff that I'm working on off-stream, I am not in a good cleanup stage. So that probably means I won't touch it today. Very unfortunate. But it's okay. I'll just rest up today, and once I'm feeling a little bit better, I'll be ready to jump right back into things. Because I gotta say, after not being here for 2 days, it feels nice to be streaming again. I like working on my things and talking about what I'm doing. I think it's a pretty good time. Alright, that seems pretty okay. So now let's take a look over here, onto the other half of this. I was never entirely satisfied with how that looked, but I'm not quite sure what more I can do for it. There's something about it still feels like it's being a little bit stretched. But I feel like with the left turn, we should see a little bit less of this area, so maybe that's just what I'm seeing. Maybe what I actually want. We'll just try a couple of things. When in doubt, just try something. So maybe what I want is actually to cover up just a little bit more of this. And maybe that'll let me get the effect that I want. I'm gonna leave it just a little bit messy. I'll worry about cleaning up if I decide I like the effect. That actually seems pretty okay. Let me propagate it a little bit further up. Make just the top part appear a little bit less round. Let it kind of drop. Really make it look like it's covering that area just a little bit more. No, that didn't do it. Okay, let's back up. Okay, I'll just completely back up here. Because that didn't quite do what I hoped. But I know what I'm thinking in theory, so let's see if I can find something that kind of does it. It's like the main thing is that I can't really pull it much further this way, but I want to change the shape of things up there a little. Yeah, even that is starting to look like it's being stretched a little bit. Even that much. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, even that much isn't quite doing it. Alright, let's put it back. I am grateful for the undo button, because it lets me try so many things. Oh, my mouth isn't moving. Oh, that's fine. Because I kind of know what I'm thinking in theory, of just... Much like down here, it's... If I can cover up a little bit more of this area, I think it'll make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. But how do I do that? How do I do that? Because yeah, if I pull any of this further to the left, it just looks like it's growing or crawling over that way as opposed to turning. Let me just do something extreme. We're just gonna really pull this out. Just the whole thing. This is gonna look wrong, right? Yeah, so wrong. Okay. Good to confirm. Good to confirm. Okay, so that's not the issue. It's not that it's not all moving together. Because for a second I was wondering, okay, I'm only moving, like, the very top of it. So if I moved all of it, would it perhaps be a little bit more convincing? But no, that is not the case. So yeah, that might just be the best I can do. I don't think it looks bad. Okay, I wanted to see if I could add a little bit more 3D-ness to it, but I think that is gonna be as good as I get. Over here doesn't look too bad. So I will go ahead and just fix up a couple of things here that I see. And I think that'll be fine for what's over here. I don't think over here needs that much work. I just thought it was a little wrinkly in a couple of places. So let's see if I can de-wrinkle this. Okay, and then at the very end here, around that highlight. I feel like that highlight is going up a little bit, so let's see if I can just pull it down very slightly. Do I feel like it's being stretched a little bit here? I actually do. I was shaking her head back and forth a little bit there, just so I could see the full distance that area that I was working on would go. And I actually think it might look a little bit better if I just push that guy over a little bit and we see a little bit more of this dark area. I think it makes sense. With how I have the hair structured here. Oh yeah, that does look a little bit better. And over here I tried to make the very tip of this a little bit shorter looking, so I pushed the vertices real close together, just to try to make it look like it was turning into that darkness there. And I think that looks pretty good. And indeed, over here, I want to show a little bit more of this area here. I think this looks mostly okay. There's just like a little wrinkle right there I want to see if I can get out. I'm assuming the reason that it's there is because I couldn't find a way to get it out. But, you know, I'll try again. The worst that happens is I don't find something. And that's okay. I just want to get everything to be the best I can make it. I think that actually looks a little bit better. It still has maybe a slight wrinkle to it, but I don't think it looks too bad. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. Okay. Let's take a look at the up and down and see if there's a lot that I need to fix on them. If there's not, I might just do it now. Not too much. Let me see. Can I make a decision on how I want to handle this? Yeah, let's keep it simple. So once again, I was noticing that little light area was being lifted up. I was debating whether or not I wanted to lift up the rest of it over here, or if I wanted to bring this part down. And I just decided I think I want to bring this part down a little. Show a little bit of the dark space above it. I think that makes sense. In theory. I'll see if it looks nice. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Let's go in and clean it up a little. And as always with all of these things, we'll save the me of tomorrow, who will presumably have a fresh brain and will hopefully be a little bit less sick. And will have hopefully got a better night's sleep. Well, we'll see what she thinks. But I think things are going pretty well. And let's see, how do I feel about this area? Just while I'm in the neighborhood. I actually don't think I like the way the shadows underneath. I think the strand sitting on top is okay, but I don't think I like the way the shadows underneath are working here. So let's pull this guy back down just a little. I think I just pulled a couple of those vertices up a little bit too high. I don't think I want those shadows to be moving quite as much as like all the stuff in here. Yeah, it's almost like I'm trying to have it both ways. That's a little awkward. And over here I want to show like none of it, which makes sense to me. Okay. When I said try to have it both ways, I meant that it's like I'm trying to show both more of the shadow in some areas and less of the shadow in others, and that just seems weird to me. So let's show all of it. Let's let the shadow show off as much as it wants. Perhaps there's a reason for why I made that choice in the past, but I have now changed my mind, and I think that this is much better. In fact, I think it could even stand to show a bit more. Let's get it on down. It's probably related to this pink spot, honestly. Because now that I've moved that, I'm seeing a lot more of that pink spot, and I don't think it looks very good there. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. See, he's supposed to kinda go hide behind the strand coming out in front of her bangs. Okay, yeah, that's much better. Okay, can I make this strand a little bit rounder at the bottom? I don't know if it'll be possible, but let's give it a try. I'll do it in gentle steps. I don't want it to look like it's flying off her head, I just wanted it to be a little bit more round and inviting. Okay, yeah, we're getting into it's flying off her head a little bit territory. Okay, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And let's try to do the same to the top. Oh, not you. You. There we go. Let's try to do the same to the top. Just a little bit more roundness to it. I will worry about fixing like some of the shadow shapes behind it later. Because I get the feeling some of that's going to have to change too. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so I definitely will look at that again tomorrow. That's my downturn. Once again, I feel like that little highlight on the edge there is being bent and going in a direction that it shouldn't, but everything else looks pretty okay. So let's just go ahead and push this down a little. It's funny that that pattern existed on like all 4 head turns. And then I'll take a look at this area real quick, but I think that will be the last thing that I do for today. I am feeling like I might need a bit of a nap, but on the bright side, I think I can eat first, which is very exciting. Because on the first day I was feeling sick, I could not eat at all. I tried, but I could not hold anything down, and it was very unfortunate. Probably part of why I've been sleeping so much. But yeah, I actually think this part is looking pretty okay on this side. And there we go. I think that I can revisit those areas tomorrow, make sure that I still like everything. But for now, I think they're looking pretty okay, and then I can also go check this area and get into corners there, or maybe finish up this area and just do all of this area together tomorrow. Or, well, not tomorrow, because tomorrow's gonna be Infinity Nikki, but on Monday. Yay! But it's okay, I think this is a decent progress for today. And so, this is where I will be stopping. So, thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. And I hope that you do not get sick. So, I will see you all tomorrow.